And whenever you're ready, you can start, please.
Okay. Well, in 3, 2, 1. Sorry, 3, 2, 1. Raise your hand, all those who wear makeup. Raise your hand if you're familiar with the testing process that these products must undergo in order to reach. Now, raise your hand, people who are against animal abuse and mistreatment. Well, for all of you, there is something you need to know or something you already know. Today, worldwide, more than 500,000 animals die every year for the benefit of the cosmetic industry. And today, I'm going to explain you why, and I'm going to explain you why cosmetic testing on animals should be prohibited. First of all, I'm going to introduce you to a term called cosmetic experimentation. According to organization, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, for years, the cosmetic industry has tested its products on animals for the sole purpose of verifying the safety of the product for the health of the consumer. In order to determine this, toxicity studies of the ingredients contained in the product are performed, as well as testing the irritant and sensitive capacity of the cosmetic. All these tests that I have just mentioned are performed on animals such as rabbits, mice, and rats. In the test I have just mentioned, non-analgesics are used on the animals, and due to the nature of the experiment, the animals may become blind, suffer convulsion, or die from the painful and stressful procedures. With all this in mind, I will give you 3 reasons why cosmetic experimentation on animals should be prohibited. As my first reason, I'm going to tell you explicitly about one of the tests performed on animals called the dry eye test. During this test, rabbits are immobilized with full body restraints while a substance is dripping into their eyes. Here, the rabbits often scream in pain and break their necks trying to free themselves. In addition of that, it is important to know that the rabbits have sensitive eyes with little tear fluid, causing the substance to remain in their eyes for a very long time. This causes them to feel burning, inflammation, and corrosion. All this is reason enough to question the experimental methods and whether it is ethical to experiment in such a way with animals for the benefit of the industry. The second reason that I'm going to give you today is that today, according to the Foundation for Animal Advocacy and Action, there are many tests and methods to validate safety process that do not require animal testing. Also, there are more than 15,000 ingredients that have been accepted as safe, which can be used for the manufacturing of cosmetic products without the need to dare be tested on animals. These alternatives include using human cells and tissues, computer modeling techniques, and also studies with human volunteers. There are a large number of beauty brands that choose not to test their products on animals, and yet they continue to be well-known, safe, effective, and very high-quality brand. Such is the case of Garnier, that at the beginning of 2021, it was approved by Worldwide Cruelty-Free International. Or it's also the case of Dove, which has been using animal-free alternatives to test its products and ingredients for 30 years. Therefore, the excuse of the need to perform these experiments for safety reasons is discarded, since there are other ways of verifying or achieving product safety. My last reason is that on most occasions, the difference that exists between species, meaning us and animals, makes the result obtained from the animal experimentation difficult or sometimes even impossible to be applied to humans. An expert called by Greff, who is the director of the Lush Cosmetic Company in the UK, a cruelty-free and sustainable brand, claims that the results of experimentation are not applicable to humans. This to the difference in anatomy, physiology, and metabolism, which make it impossible to determine where a consumer will react one way or the other according to his animal-based results of the cosmetic brand. He says that instead of applying chemicals to the eyes of animals for toxicity testing, which cause most animals to die, Cells can be grown on a membrane, and the changes in the cells to which the chemical has been applied can be monitored. Taking this last reason into account, it is easy to see how unnecessary it is to continue performing experiments that hurt and kill animals, because they are cruel procedures, because there are other alternatives, and because they are inapplicable, inhuman in most of the cases. In conclusion, I want you to keep in mind these 3 reasons that I have just mentioned to you, and ask yourself if they are reasons enough for you to think that the cosmetic experimentation on animals should be prohibited. If these are enough reasons for you that before buying any cosmetic brand, check if it's a brand that tests on animals or not. Think if these are reason enough for you to stop consuming brands that test on animals. And now, raise your hand, those who will never buy or will buy again from a brand that in the creation process hurts animals. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Could you stop recording, please?